So in this video, we're going to mostly cover the basics of the PDF template editor. So I can show you how it works and how you can create a new custom template for any of the different areas in your Katana account. So I think the easiest thing to start off with is making something like a custom template for doing quotes. So here in the quotes template section, which is located also under the sales screen here in the sell page, you can have one template that's for your quotes. This is the default factory version available on your Katana account that can't be deleted. So anytime you need to add a new template, then you can either do it by duplicating a pre-existing one, since that will form the basis of the template you're about to make, or you can choose the add new option where you can select from the template that you're going to choose as a base when you're making your new item. So anytime you're adding a custom item to Katana, it's always done on the basis of a pre-existing or predefined default template. So for example, for sales order templates, we have 4 of them. If I choose add new, I will select from one of those 4, or I will choose to duplicate a pre-existing one. So in order to make our custom quote, I'll just create a new one by choosing add new and selecting quote as the base template. And when we do that, it will open up the PDF generator editor. So you'll see a lot of things in front of you. It might look confusing at first, so I'll give you a quick run through of some of the basic areas inside of this editor just to get you introduced to how it works. So probably the first thing that you will need to work with when it comes to these new editor menus and such is to create a new name for the template you just made. So up where it says quote copy, you can go into this section which is called the menu bar and actually change the name of this document. So I'll call this custom quote. And once you rename it, it will save it and you'll have the thumbs up, everything is confirmed. All right, so going into a little bit more detail. Starting here at the top, we have the menu bar. Menu bar, it's got a lot of useful elements that are related for your document, but it's mainly used to see a variety of different items, most particularly with respect to page setup as well as the name. But just to give you a quick overview of what you can see here is here in the file section, save, rename, preview. This is pretty basic. If you select the preview option, then it will take the pre-existing sample data that's in this quote and show you what it would look like. So if I choose preview, you'll see in front of us an example of how that's going to look whenever it's generating a document from the data that it's pulling out of the Katana account. You can choose close here. Additionally, you can go into the page setup section, for example, and see the type of layout you want to have. Select your margins as well as choose the different measurement sizes such as centimeter or inch, or orientation can be changed between portrait and landscape. And you can apply those directly to this document for each new document you'll make in the future from this template. Under edit, it's just an undo setting. Here in the view section, still some of the same menu items are available, such as preview and editor modes. Right now we're in editor mode. Preview would be the PDF overview. You can look at the data that's available for this document type. So one of the things that is important to mention about the PDF editor and how it works is it's actually just a good way to format a document by pulling and extrapolating API data from your Katana database, bringing it up to the surface, and then customizing it how it's displayed when it's printed out. That's really all it is. So if you get deeper into some of the API elements of Katana, you'll start to have a clear understanding of kind of where are certain data points associated with the documents you intend to make. So in case you can't find something, then eventually you can also kind of scour through here and understand what's associated with what. So for example, if I were to choose customer and I select the customer, then I can see like what's the company name linked to the customer, what's their display name, what is their email, first and last, and phone number. So every single component might have subcomponents, and all those components are able to be used in your documents. So just to kind of give an idea of how this works, That's basically what the template is doing. That's why it's called an API template generator. So anyhow, moving forward from the view section, there's also grid view where you can, I think, put additional elements within your viewpoints here. Let me get back into the editor mode. Yeah, so the grid will show like kind of the snapping points within the background. We'll go ahead and take that off as well. In the insert section, you can add pages to your existing template. You can add data. That would look a bit like so. We won't get into that for now. And then, of course, the help section. So this document generator is actually a service that Katana uses that plugs into its background. And if you need additional help on how to use some of these components, it's also good to reach out to their company because they can provide more comprehensive technical support where needed. Now moving into the next section, we have this area called the style toolbar. Now, you can access some of the stuff here that you can access in the menu bar as well, like page setup and size, for example. But the main focus in the style toolbar is mainly like selecting fonts, font sizes, font styles, font colors, orientation of those fonts, orientation vertically as well as spacing and line heights, as well as text direction. You can also modify the borders of specific elements within the edit area and the colors associated with those. Here on the left side, we have what's called our component toolbar. So anytime you need to add a text box, you can select the component and then drag it into your edit field, and then do whatever it is that you need to put there, whether it's adding data or adding its own text or whatever that type of styled element actually is. We support tables. Tables can be added into these sections, containers which will be composed of a variety of different components in terms of the structure of the edit area. Barcodes, QR codes are also supported. So if you want to know more about barcodes and QR codes, there is the barcode tutorial series. Check out some of those with respect to the template editor. We cover that topic in great detail, so I think that will be very helpful if you're looking to implement barcodes and printing of barcodes within your business. You can add images. This would be used for whether you want to add photos, let's say, of an item. More specifically, this is best utilized for any business that wants to add, let's say, logos into their documents. Headers and footers. So anytime you want to add specific headers, maybe they contain a date when the item was printed or offered or things of that nature, page numbers, whatever you might. Headers and footers, it works very similar to, let's say, a Word document. Adding shapes, vertical and horizontal lines, if you want to add breaks within your document, for example. Page numbers and also symbols. There's a few other options as well. I don't think there's any on this case, but there's a extension there. So anyhow, that's what that is. Now, when we look off to the far right over here, you're going to see something that we call the component editor. Now, the component editor is more specific to elements that are within the editing layout section. So the layout section here, which has already predefined elements, such as if I choose, let's say, this under this specific section, you can see that these are the properties with respect to that part of the document. I can go in here and modify the formatting, what type of cell data will be included there, and also going into any advanced related settings with respect to the data field that's being referred within the template document in that section. So in this case, you can see that there is a unique identifier here, and this would be used for the quantity that's been specified for that field. If you look at the insert data field properties, you can then specify if you want to make a reference to a dedicated data point within your Katana account to be displayed anytime that that template is generated into a document. So those are that's the component settings area for anything that you're working with inside of the layout area. So here in the layout area, this is where you can make modifications to the format and structure of the document. And you would use these components that are here on the left. You would select those components, put them into the space, move them around how you wish, modify that specific item using the style bar up here, and also inserting any data fields that might be referenced whenever the documents are being generated. Let's see if I can look up a real quick little example here with respect to the total price. You can see that there is an order currency specified for that item. Here we go. So yeah, if you look closely, you'll see the total price and also order currency for that part of the document. So anytime that the document is generated, it will look for the total price as well as the order currency in order to be referenced at that specific location inside of this document anytime it's being generated. So that should just give a general idea of how it works and how it's structured. So coming up next, we'll cover some more details, and we will add a logo to this PDF quote.